Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Friday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How you guys all doing? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome, good morning with myself, Reganelite, here on Friday, the 3rd of July, 2026. It's just gone 11 o'clock UK time here. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. So if you're on either platforms, feel free to say hello. If you're on Twitch, consider hitting that follow button, that follow button and the bell notification icon, so you know if I want to go live on that platform. If you're on YouTube, hitting that like, share and subscribe button, all that good stuff definitely helps supports on YouTube as well. Guys, we're going to be having a look at today's daily quote. We're going to be looking at the weather, and then I want to share with you a story that I am going to be covering specifically on Rumble, but I want to share a little bit of information from it as well. And as I promised from last night's live stream, obviously I couldn't play the video because it was too much for it, but I do have it ready. So at the end of this Good Morning show, I'll be playing exactly what's possibly likely to happen with England against Mexico. And I know how much all the non-England fans are going to enjoy the video that I have for you all. I want to say thank you to everyone who attended, who checked out the Roundtable Extra with myself, Daily Blase and the grand price of power to the people. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Daily Blase will be live later on today at 5 p.m. as well as grand price power to the people. He'll be live on Sunday at around 4 or 5 o'clock. Just keep an eye on your notifications tabs if you have your notifications on his YouTube channel as well. Witchy Goth will also be live at 3 o'clock today as well. I just see her pop up in the channel, so make sure you do check her out as well. I just want to say good morning to everyone before we go straight into it. Kevin, good morning to you. Indie Duck Mel, good morning to you. Ellie, one of our moderators, good morning to you. C Diddy, good morning to you. Sid there as well. And Witchy Goth, good morning to you all. Hope you guys are all doing well. Right, let's get started. Today's daily quota. Let's go straight into it. Here it is. Here is today's daily quota for Friday, guys. Here it is here from Errol Ozan. I think I said that right. Probably not. Some beautiful paths can't be discovered without getting lost. Some beautiful paths can't be discovered without getting lost. You know, it is true. Sometimes when you go off the beaten path, you end up finding a path that you didn't know about before. It's true. Here is Saturday's one, and the reason why I show Saturdays and Sundays is because we don't do live streams over the weekend. Here is Saturday's one here for you all. And tomorrow's one is, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. That is tomorrow's daily quote there. And then finally, we have Sunday's one here, guys. Here is Sunday's one. Here is Sunday's one here. And this couldn't be more true. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. It's so true. It's so true indeed. There are your daily quotes for today, tomorrow, and Sunday there, chat. Right, let's have a look at the weather and see what's going on with the weather today. Yeah, I was going to save that till later. Right. Run straight into these. Bloop. There we go, guys. Here is today's weather forecast. Personality, good morning to you as well. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Using the bbc.co.uk/weather map, it is set at 7 o'clock Friday evening, just for reference here. Starting North America, Anchorage there in Alaska at 13 degrees, Yellowknife at 20, Churchill 19, Vancouver 17, Winnipeg at 20 there. Bit further down south, Ottawa 29, Chicago 31, New York a very warm 37 degrees. Nashville 34, Denver 29, San Francisco 18, San Diego 21, with New Orleans at 32 and Miami at 33 respectively. So there is a bit of a heat wave coming out on the east coast, on the east side of the United States there. Mexico at 20, Kingston 32, Guantanamo City at 27, with San Jose at 27 there. Further down in the South American continent, La Paz at 12, Rio de Janeiro at 26, Manaus at 33 and Caracas at 23 respectively there as well. Santiago at 13 and Stanley on the Falkland Islands right there down south at very chilly 5 degrees indeed. As for Africa, got Tripoli there 29, Marrakesh at 38, Dakar 28, Timbuktu, one of the hottest places on the planet, at 41 degrees. Brutal, brutal, brutal temperatures there. As is in Khartoum at 36 degrees, Aden at 32, Addis Ababa at 19, Port Sudan 34, Lagos 27, Bangui 28, Kishka 27, Dar es Salaam at 23, Cape Town at the bottom there at 12 degrees respectfully. Crossing over to the other side of the world, all the way to New Zealand there. We got Auckland and Wellington there at what was going on there? 11 and 10 degrees there. Over in Australia, we got Darwin right at the top of Australia there at 23. Stark contrast the temperatures across the rest of the country though. Alice Springs 9, Perth 9, very chilly. Melbourne 10, Brisbane 13, and Hobart right there on the island there. What is that island's name? Someone can mention to me in the chat. They're at 7 degrees. I'm sure it has a name. You can see there's quite a storm out in the ocean there as well. As we go a bit further north. Hopefully it does not become a problem for people. Singapore 28, Millennia 28, Ho Chi Minh City at 27, Bangkok 28, Yangon at 26, Hanoi 28 there, Taipei at 27, Shanghai there at 26, Lanhosu at 17 with Beijing a very warm 28 degrees, and Tokyo there sitting at 20. Dhaka at 28 and New Delhi at 31, Nagpur at 25 with Chennai at 32 degrees. And in the Middle East there, Tehran at 31, with Baghdad at 37, Kuwait City 37, Riyadh 39, and Cairo there in Egypt at 32 degrees. Having a look, what's our friends' temperatures up in Iceland? At 11 degrees today. 11 degrees. Looks like it's going to be a nice clear day for them up in Iceland there. That's why mums go there, guys. That's why mums go there. If you don't know the reference, I'm sorry if you don't know the reference, but most UK viewers will know what that reference means. In Europe, well, it is still going to be it is still a fairly warm day in Europe. Madrid and Lisbon, 35 and 32 respectively there. Parmelo there at 26 with Rome at 30. It's not too bad temperatures. Nice 29, Bern 24, Paris 26. That's nice for Paris, considering what they went through last week as well. Taria there at 30, Athens at 29, Istanbul 28, Bucharest 25, Chistu 24, Zagreb and Vienna 25, 26 respectively there. Berlin, Prague 20 and 22 respectively. Warsaw there sitting at 20, Kiev a little bit warmer at 22. Very warm in Volgograd there at 27 there, as Moscow is at 22. Riyadh at 18, St. Petersburg 18, Oslo there in Norway at 19 respectively. And then finally Brussels at 20 degrees. Oh, I did not zoom out there. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're expecting today, all the way up till Monday before we go into some of the other bits. So we got Edinburgh here, 17 degrees, Belfast 15, Dublin 19, Manchester 20, Cardiff 21, London 23 is what we're expecting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There is some showers and forecast on the western coast of Scotland and parts of Northern Ireland and Ireland respectively there, so just bear that in mind. Later on in the afternoon though, those temperatures are going to pick up a little bit, 25, 16, not too much of a problem in Scotland in terms of temperatures, but there is going to be pretty miserable in parts of Northern Ireland and Wales, not Wales and Scotland, so please bear that in mind for today. But overall most parts are going to be dry. But fortunately for those in northern England and most parts of southern middle Scotland, there will be some showers here and there. It's going to be cloudy in some parts there, just bear that in mind. As for overnight though, this is what we're expecting overnight temperatures. Again, bits and rains and forecast in parts of the north there. You got Cardiff and London 16 and 19 respectively there. Belfast 17, 17, Manchester 17, Edinburgh 14 with a few showers here and there. We push it over to Saturday in the morning there. You see these temperatures 14 to 17 degrees, not too bad, but there is going to be some rain dropping overnight. In the morning though, there is going to be unfortunately this massive puddle of water splashing all over Scotland there. There will be some scattered parts in Northern England, Ireland and Northern Ireland respectively there, but unfortunately for our friends up in the north, they will be suffering some wetness indeed. However, some of it will dissipate a bit later on. Temperature wise though, London hitting 28 degrees, so it's going to be very warm for a Saturday in the capital. Cardiff and Manchester and Dublin 21, that's not going to be too bad for them. It'd be warm but not as warm as London. Belfast and Edinburgh 19 and 18 respectively there, so that won't be too bad indeed. But yeah, London's going to be very, very warm. Very, very warm indeed. I currently have no plans for Saturday at the moment. I don't know if I might go and see a film maybe. Excuse me, something like that maybe tomorrow. Because my partner has seen Hanam, so I might go and see a film tomorrow, maybe something like that, depending. Have to wait and see. Oh wait, Caroline, good morning to you. Tasmania is the name of the island to the south of Australia. I heard it's about the same size as Ireland. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Ooh, let's. I need to. Right, we were just literally looking at Ireland. Yeah, it's pretty decent size, actually. Yeah, it's a pretty decent size. Actually, pretty decent size. So, yeah, it's roughly... It does actually look roughly around about the same as Ireland. I can't say for certain, though, because it's... Yeah, it's quite small, obviously, on the... in the comparison. But, yeah, it probably is, actually. Probably is, to be fair. There. Right, let's have a look at overnight for Saturday overnight. This is what we're looking like temperature wise here. There'll be some showers here and there, but London is going to be a warm night Saturday night though. 18 degrees in London. Other parts of the UK shouldn't be too bad. 15, 16, 15, 16, 14. That's not going to be too bad. It's not going to be the end of the world. Not hot, not cold overnight there. But Sunday morning, temperature wise, is going to be around 16, 17. Not too bad temperatures in the morning. However, once again, rain has decided to dwell itself once again on the west coast of Scotland there, so my apologies again to our Scottish friends. But we can see then the rain is pouring in again. London hitting 25, Cardiff 22, Manchester 20, Dublin 21 there, 18, 17 degrees respectively. But Belfast and Edinburgh go a bit later on into the evening though. We've got this a big puddle of shower again. I'm afraid, yeah, just you probably need a brolly or a raincoat if you're living in Scotland for pretty much most days this week, guys. So I'm really sorry about that. Overnight, this is what we're looking like overnight though. 16, 18 degrees in some parts there for Monday morning, temperature-wise. There will be some showers in spots in parts of Scotland. It may even be one or two in the north of England as well. If I pull it to a bit more later on in the afternoon. Monday afternoon, it's going to be 26 degrees in London. Cardiff 23, Manchester 20, Dublin 21, Belfast 19. That's not bad. I wouldn't call this like it's still warm. I wouldn't necessarily call it the extreme heat wave that we had, but it is still a heat wave nonetheless in London. It is still we're still having a heat wave this week in Europe, but it's just not as warm as it was the previous week. So it will still be warm. It will still be warm where I am here. For some reason, I have to close the one of my tabs because it's kicking off apparently. But that's what we're looking like here for Monday afternoon. There is going to be some showers, unfortunately. Parts of the north there, yeah, it's going to be pretty miserable, unfortunately, for if you're living in the really northern parts of Scotland. Sorry, that just cannot be helped there. If you have a look overnight, though, this is what we're looking like overnight. For some reason, 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, it's going to be 22 degrees. And Edinburgh 14, Belfast and Dublin 16 and 17, Manchester 17, Cardiff 16. And I can hear Jasper meowing in the background. I don't know what he wants, but he's protesting about something. So if you do hear a cat meowing, he's fine. I just want to point out that Jasper was sick this morning. Twice. I don't know who fed him, but it hasn't been me. It wasn't me who fed him yesterday, but I always stick to the same food that I give the cats. But he appears to be okay now. I'll check after. I'll check the floor again just in case he was sick. In case he's sick again later. As a quick look at Tuesday here, this is what we're looking like Tuesday. So it's going to be very cloudy. It looks like it's going to be a dry day in Scotland as well. There may be some showers there here and there, but temperature-wise, looking like the 24s or 26. Let's have a look at Wednesday quickly for next week. 28, 20 in Edinburgh, 21, 22, 24, 25 there as well. And then Thursday 28, 26, 21 there. Now, I was told it was going to hit 30 degrees, but it hasn't said that here. So we'll have to wait and see next week what the forecasters are going to be on. We'll have to have a look on Monday to see what the forecasts are going to be there. But my understanding was there that we are going to hit the 30 mark in London next week again, which is, to be fair, as long as we're like, I mean, I'm not a fan of 30 plus degrees temperatures personally. I think it's, I struggle with plus 25 as it is. But when you hit that 35, it's really, really brutal, as you guys know, indeed. I mean, I have the fan on in here already, and it's and right now, temperature in this room is 26.9 degrees, according to the thermostat I've got up here. So I've got a little thermostat here that someone gave me, so I can actually see what the temperature is. So we'll actually see like next week when it hits those high temperatures, like what the temperature is going to be in this room. That'll be interesting indeed. You guys talking about something else there, I see. Guys, before I go to normal news, I want to share this story. Now, I'm not going to cover it in full because I want you guys to check out the full thing on Rumble. But I wanted to just share this with you for people who might think that Spain is actually, for all of Spain saying that they condemn what Israel are doing, for calling out Israel, the Spanish government for calling out Israel and claiming that they don't want nothing to do with the country whatsoever. Well, unfortunately, it completely flies in the face of this exclusive from Al Jazeera here. And the reason why I'm sharing with you this specific story is because I want people to know that Spain are enabling the genocide in Gaza, in the West Bank and whatnot. They are financially supporting them, despite the Spanish government saying that they condemn everything that Israel are doing. And I just want to make this very, very clear. I want to just take you down specifically to, where is it? Here. Specifically here. So this is data collected by State Watch and revealed by Al Jazeera show. So here it is, the main one here, guys. I just want to share this bit here. If you want to watch the full video, it'll drop on Sunday at 12 o'clock for free, by the way, if you want to read this in full with me as I share my thoughts, in particular, are detailed here. So it says here, the figures show Spain, among Europe, the most vocal critics of Israel, agreed to 14 contracts worth almost 227 million euros between January 2022 and July 2025, the period covered by the data set. The majority of that sum, 207 million euros, that's $235 million, stems from an April 2024 contract between the Spanish Defense Ministry and Rafael for aerial combat systems. Spanish police forces also purchased bulletproof vests from an Israeli company, Marum Dolphin. So essentially what I'm basically saying, like, okay, of course, we absolutely need to take our criticisms because we are taking Israeli war bonds, as well as directly supporting Israel because of what our government is doing. And we need to challenge that, as Dave McGinn has pointed out about the Israeli war bonds in his live stream there. But it's also very hypocritical of Spain to talk about, it's particular Spanish government to talk about, wanting to criticize Israel for what they're doing, and yet they have agreed contracts with them. And bear that in mind, this was contracts they agreed not just before October the 7th, but after October the 7th as well. So even after October the 7th, after what happened, right, they still kept buying contracts with them, all right, despite everything that they have seen. Remember, that's all the way up till July 2025, yeah? July of last year, okay? And we saw, like, all the way, like, lots of reports about what was going on inside Gaza. So the Spanish government were fully aware, and they still had those contracts. And they still have some of those contracts as well. So, yeah, if you want to know a bit more about that story, a bit more, you can check out my video on Sunday on the Rumble page. The link for Rumble is in the description. It'll drop at 12 o'clock on there if you want more details about that story. But yeah, I didn't see anything about Ireland, by the way, in that report. I didn't see anything about Ireland in that report, just for reference there. So let's start with the Guardian here. Keir Starmer's ally Holly Regan is to step down as Labour's General Secretary. In exclusive, it says, as well as citing personal reasons, Ridley says she's making way for a successor to work alongside the new leader here. So Holly Regan, Labour's General Secretary, is to step down this autumn after 2 years in the job. She has announced to party staff. She's an ally of Keir Starmer, who ran Labour's field operations in the 2024 general election win. She said in an internal email she will stand down after the party's annual conference in September, saying that this was in part for personal reasons. Riley said it was also the right thing to allow Labour's ruling National Executive Committee to pick a new General Secretary to work alongside the new leader once they are elected. So the party's General Secretary has a highly influential role, and like Starmer, who oversaw Ridley's appointment to the job shortly after becoming Prime Minister, Burnham will want a close ally in the post there. So yeah, it's a bit of a changing of the guard there, but she's saying it's in part for personal reasons, but honestly we just don't know. But obviously being a General Secretary does have some perks, as it says there as well. But we know that there's going to be some shuffling in the pack. We kind of discussed this quite a bit yesterday on the Roundtable Extra with myself, Graham, and Daily Blase. We discussed it quite rigorously there, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we talk about it with Dave McGuinness and Van Man as well. I'm sure we'll be discussing that in a few weeks' time as well. But I do think there's gonna be some or two people. I don't really know if it's really personal reasons, because it's like the timing of the announcement internally is kind of like, like, is it really for personal reasons, or is it because of the changing at the top? So Burnham promises to ease the cost of living pressures if he becomes Prime Minister. So I did watch his he went on LBC with Andrew Marr yesterday, and I listened to it this morning, and he didn't really give anything too much away, but he obviously talked about, helping businesses, helping people with the cost of living. He talked about like trying to help people essentially, which I thought was very fascinating there. So he's promised to ease the cost of living if he becomes Prime Minister in his first interview since returning to Parliament. So he told LBC if he becomes Prime Minister later this month, as expected, he will look at reducing business rates for some high street businesses, bringing down water and energy costs by deprivatising companies, making bus travel free for 16 to 18-year-olds. I think if he make bus travel free for 16 to 18-year-olds, I think that's a really good thing. It really will help youngsters get around. So I'm very much in favour of that. The measures are likely to be included as part of an immediate cost of living package, which allies say could increase more radical measures such as freezing private sector rents. Burnham told the station that there is some room within the 2024 manifesto for movement on tax. So if you take business rates, for instance, I believe there is a case for highest business rates on warehouses and the major developments we see on the outskirts of our city, so that we can cut the business rates for pubs. So he also mentioned pubs. So he obviously wants to help out hospitality, which I think is a massive, which is really, really good, in particular pubs. I think that will be a really, really big winner, especially for older voters who still like to regularly go for the pubs. So that's a very good vote charming one as well. He added Britain is paying too much for the basics. People are paying too much. Businesses are also paying too much, and that's certainly true of energy. He says successful will lay out a plan for more public control over water and energy transport, so that over that period we can get those bills down. Fares down and give people and businesses breathing space. So he's not saying right off the bat here, and this is absolutely true, like he can't bring bills down straight away. He's making that, like, he's not saying that he can't bring bills down, but he's basically saying we're going to lay out a plan to bring the bills down. This is the plan, bring the bills down. Now, if he's very clear about what they do, then that obviously I think people might give him a bit of respite. But he says Britain needs more breathing space, and we do need to be serious about putting more money back into people's pockets, he says there. Polls suggest Burnham's promise of heavy political intervention to ease the cost of living pressures will prove popular with the public. A study by Persuasion shows that if Labour runs on a platform of a cost of living populism, it could win 253 more seats than if it continued on its current trajectory. Yeah, if your campaign is about reducing bills, cutting cutting the cost of living, you will win a lot of voters. More than immigration, more than crime, more than any other policy, because people will feel more money in their pockets. If you can do that. And that's a big if, though. But as been mentioned before, the physical rules are the thing is that he's claiming that he can do this within the physical rules. And I'm not so convinced by that. Free bus fares for under 18s would be good. So Sid, yeah, I think it'd be very good for youngsters. Very, very good indeed. My son pays £6 a day just to get to college. Yeah, that's £6 a day. So what, is it 5 days a week, for example? Right, if your son goes to college, Sid, yeah, that's £12 a day, because you travel a bus there and back. And you do the six times 5. That's like what's that? £36. So that's £36 out of pocket a week. That your son loses from the bus fares there, and and then obviously you times that by 4. What's that? More than 120, £130 a month. For transport. All that money remains with your son. If that bus fare remains free. So yeah, it's a big deal. That's a big deal. Like, these small things are a really big deal. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. But again, it all comes down to, at the moment, it's all a lot of words. So Infrastructure cuts to pay for defence will cost UK 10,000 jobs, analysis have shown. Findings cast out on Keir Starmer's claims that reallocation of funds to the MOD will boost British jobs. Yeah, I don't buy this at all. I think this is a bit of... I really, really don't like cutting infrastructure projects to fund defence. I think we do need to continue funding infrastructure projects. I think this is really, really important. I know the main priority will be, Andy will be wanting to deal with the cost of living. I generally believe that. But we also must make sure we're continuing investing in our infrastructure because that's something that we have lacked so far behind in comparison to other nations. So far behind when it comes to it. We really need to give MPs and constituents infrastructure projects to show that we are building Britain for for the future. Because right now we're not seeing it. Nobody's really seeing it. That's a big problem here. So this one, Keir Starmer's decision to cut billions of pounds of infrastructure spending to pay more for defence equipment will end up costing the UK 10,000 jobs, according to analysis of the government's own figures. Prime Minister announced this week he was putting an extra £15 billion of defence investment to revamp the company's armed forces and boost British manufacturing. Yeah, but there's still 4.7 billion which is still unaccounted for as well, which is also another thing. Yeah, but yeah, their own analysis are saying 10,000 jobs could be cut from this, even though Keir Starmer says it's going to boost jobs. Who do you believe? We kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday. Lee Sandy quitting X over Musk's own site pushes abuse of information. I didn't see the tweet till this morning, but Zoe Gardner quote tweeted this. Zoe Gardner, who's an immigration expert, I do highly recommend checking her out on her own YouTube channel. She does some great stuff. She's very, very good at holding people to account whenever she's on TV. She basically said, you're quitting the platform you actually have control over. And she's right. She's a minister. She's in government. She can do things, which is true. Apparently, DEFRA breached the law when it let farmers use bee killing pesticides. Watchdog has said the Office for Environment Protections finds failures by the department when it granted an emergency authorization in 2023 and 2024. Ooh. Allow farmers to use the banned nestricide pesticides on Jupiter bee crops. After a complaint by the campaign group client for the Office of Environmental Protections, which was set up after Brexit as England's environmental watchdog, launched an investigation of possible serious failures by DEFRA. The OEP has now concluded there were failures to comply with the environmental laws on 4 occasions. These include a failure to consider the authorization impact on protected sites and to understand, avoid, mitigate the known risks and harm to those sites. We are already dealing with it. Like, we are already in this country, in the UK in particular, struggling with a bee population as it is. We should not be we should not be making it more worse for us. Like, I can understand the argument for farmers that they're trying to protect their crops, okay? But can we do it without the need for killing bees, please? Like, come on. We need them. We really, really do need them. Police criticise government's late decision to allow pubs to stay up until 5 AM for the England match. I get that. I get that criticism from the police. I know it's going to be a headache for the police force. I get that. But this is a boost. But the counter argument, of course, is that this is a boost for pubs. It's a boost for the economy. Like, I get it. I get the criticism. I accept that. But, you know, give the fans what they want, basically. You know, we are a football nation, so I understand the police criticism for it, but yeah, I agree with Keir Starmer's decision to do that. Married at First Sight, UK cast member has been arrested on suspicion of rape. Ooh, that's very concerning indeed. A truly international network of drug facilitated rape has been uncovered by the UK Crime Agency. The National Crime Agency said offenders arranged to sexually assault and film victims via online networks, with crimes often taking place in trusting relationships. Criminal investigations in the UK said they have uncovered a truly international network of organised drug facilitating sexual assault in which victims are sedated before being raped and sexually assaulted. The National Crime Agency has said online networks, many yet unidentified by law enforcement, were allowing offenders to arrange to rape and abuse victims for arranging for sexual assaults to be filmed. In many cases, these crimes are being perpetrated by those who utilise the existence of committed, trusting and often long-term relationships to perpetrate and facilitate offending, the agency said, giving the example of high-profile listing Pressoff's case in France. Since it began investigating an online forum in October last year, the NCA has identified more than 270 individuals linked to that forum and its successors. Nigel Legge, the NCA's deputy director, said it had disassembled more than 210 intelligence packages relating to suspects and potential victims to law enforcement partners in the UK and overseas, with more than 90% of those being sent abroad. If we're not already working with international bodies to crack down in this network, we should be doing so. Like here, in a situation as serious as this, we really need the NCA to be working with other European and international partners to identify the heads who are running this organization, this network, to shut this down. We really do. This is where you need international cooperation to shut something like this down. I had a feeling there were things like this happening, but to actually read it, it's really disheartening. Larry said, we believe we have uncovered a truly international network with group members identified in dozens of countries spanning every continent. He said domestically the intelligence package has resulted in at least 14 separate investigations with 8 victim survivors safeguarded. He said online platforms were enabling and supporting direct offending. We've seen users actively engage with other like-minded individuals, discussing in graphic detail how they want to drug their victims commit the most horrendous sexual abuse. Larry said. Discussions including inviting over people to take part in sexual assault. I don't want to read any more of that bit. He says, in many of the cases we've seen so far, individuals become victims of sexual assault crimes while sedated. He said, adding that many people do not even be aware that it's happened. This is a very scary situation. I don't want to read any more of it because I know it'd be discomfortable for some people. But it's it is very, very concerning indeed. It needs to be. We need international cooperation on this one. It's not enough for the NCA on here. We need other bodies to be able to tackle that. It's very, very scary indeed. Fans don't need to be up at 5 a.m. Ridiculous, says Automated Hero. Unfortunately, you're going to get fans up late that night, whether we like it or not. It's football. That I mean, I get why people don't want the pubs open. I get that people should not be staying up for it. But I'm a wrestling fan, and I stay up for wrestling pay-per-views every once a month because that's how much I love wrestling. You know, that's how much I love watching All Elite Wrestling. I don't stay up for the shows. I watch them the next morning than the regular shows. But when it comes to pay-per-views, I stay up to watch them live. And I have no regrets about it. I have no regrets whatsoever about it. If I was as passionate about football as I was about wrestling, I would just simply... I would stay up to watch it. And that's the thing. It's easy for people to say, it's way past your bedtime. Well, you try telling them that. You know, people don't care if it ruins their next day at work. They honestly don't care. Let's have a quick look at Sky News. Most of the stories will be the same. Andy Burnham has 4 ideas for benefit reforms, but he's making a big mistake with the triple lock. It says MPs call on the Foreign Secretary to sanction Netanyahu over torture of Palestinian civilians. British MPs have accused the pair of allowing the torture of Palestinian civilians with impunity. Mr. Netanyahu and his government have repeatedly denied the allegations and have said all military personnel and intelligence services adhere to international legal standards. Bullshit! Sorry for swearing. I had to say it, guys. It's not true. We've seen the evidence. Witnesses coming out of the Israeli prisons. International humanitarian organizations also contradict this position that international standards are being adhered to. This is just bollocks from Netanyahu and his government. Just absolute bollocks. In a letter to Yvette Cooper signed by 71 cross-party MPs, it's cross-parties, so it's not just one party, MPs, saying systematic and well-documented torture of Palestinian civilians lies with the government of Israel, including the Prime Minister Netanyahu. A group led by Labour MP Neil Duncan Jordan is urging the Foreign Secretary to help with this impunity by sanctioning Mr Netanyahu and Yavet Lelin, who is the Deputy Prime Minister, Justice Minister, Interior Minister and Religious Service Minister. They said that the sanctions against 2 Israeli ministers, Ishmael Ben-Gvir and Bashar Smotrich, in June last year remained welcome, but they have done little to change the government of Israel's approach to Palestinian detainees, and since then the situation has escalated with near total impunity. Groups including 30 Labour MPs and 7 Labour peers has given 3 instances, so they exemplify the escalation. They said a February 2026 UN report found torture becoming integral to the domination of punishment inflicted on Palestinian men, women and children, both through custodial abuses and through a relentless campaign of forced displacement, massacre, deprivation and destruction of all means of life. Mr. Netanyahu praised Israel military advocates' decisions to drop charges in March in a case involving the alleged rape of Palestinian detainees by Israeli soldiers, particularly captured on CCTV. It was not alleged. It was very. It happened. The footage was very, very clear, and the person responsible had to had to step away from the job completely because they were targeted. They were targeted by Israel. The person responsible who had put that footage out, has become a target ever since. The woman behind it has become a target ever since she put it out there, because in her good conscience, it was just wrong not to put this out there. And they were more angry. This is very, very important context. I want to make this clear to people, right? Israel were more angry with the footage being released than what the footage actually showed. Because they don't want people to see. How many times have we mentioned that international journalists are not allowed inside Gaza? Why are international journalists not inside Gaza? Ask Israel that. So, and as long as we are funding and supplying Israel, we are adherent to what Israel are doing, and that is still happening. That is still happening. So, while this is a nice little thing that's here. It's nowhere near enough. It's going nowhere near enough the problems. Any other stories here? Fake cash comeback notes are being openly sold on popular websites. Teen rapist new sentence not enough, says victims who fear for tainted life on daughter. And all those stories. I think they're old stories there, so we'll leave Sky News for now. Let's have a look at the BBC, see what they're saying. We are going to have a look at some world news as well, chat, just for a reminder. Also, if you guys want to see the super cool super chat video, you can help contribute towards the super chat goal if you guys want to as well. Labour failed to prepare for power, admits PM's former top aide. Yes. Morgan McSweeney actually spoke to BBC's Nick Robinson and tried to lay... I haven't watched the interview, but yeah, he tried to lay out that Labour was not ready. And my thought process is like, well, you were the guy who was behind the campaign, the general election campaign for Labour, and you kind of like knew that the polling was in your favour, so you guys didn't you guys not make any preparation when you knew where the polls were? Like, it's kind of ridiculous, really, to a certain extent. So in his first media interview, Morgan Sweeney told the BBC that he had not yet had all the answers for the Prime Minister's dramatic downfall just 2 years after his party led the party back in office. But he admitted Labour had not given enough thought as to how the world had changed since the Labour Party last took power in the 1990s. He added that the party should have way more optimistic in its first few months, and that it had been unable to deliver results quickly enough to satisfy voters. Well, Keir Starmer's first speech as Prime Minister didn't exactly help, where he said it's going to be tough, like tough times first, but the good times will come round. He didn't exactly give optimism for people, didn't it? We didn't prepare enough for what kind of world we're going to. We are now in a very different era when Labour was last in government. I think we didn't have enough conversations at the top of the party about what that meant, how to prepare for it, and what it meant for the state. You have to deliver quite quickly for people and for them to see the change and quickly, and I don't think we've come through with enough of a theory of how we would do that. McSweeney ran Labour's successful 2024 election campaign following Ursula into office as head of political strategy. He has kept a low profile despite his instrumental role behind the scenes. He was thrust into the limelight earlier this year when he resigned over his role in Peter Mandelson's appointment to the UK ambassador. He was still President Smythe. Was he asked about Peter Mandelson, just out of curiosity? McSweeney took on Chief of Staff role. We pushed out Sue Gray. I wonder how things would have done if Sue Gray had stayed in the role as Chief of Staff. He admitted an early decision to remove winter fuel payments from millions of pensioners, a policy which he would later U-turn had been a mistake and had defied the government in a way that did us a lot of damage. Yeah, it was a stupid idea. well off the wrong foot there. He admitted there was no question the party had been damaged by an early row over freebies given to ministers and donors. Kids to stomach stuff. That's when the interview McSweeney said he found Donald Trump much funnier than he expected him to be. Oh my god. Yeah, I will watch. I will need to listen to the interview at some point. But yeah, this is very concerning as well. The grooming gang leader released from prison. The ringleader of the Rochdale grooming gang that targeted girls as young as 12 has been released from prison. Shabir Ahmed, 73, also known as Daddy by his victims, was jailed for 22 years in August 2012 for a raft of sexual offences, including rape. This week, his victims were told he would be released on licence, and despite earlier promises, could not be deported due to a 55-year-old law. But Keir Starmer has now asked the Home Secretary to review the case and calls for the law to be changed and allow him to be removed from the country. BBC understands Ahmed left prison earlier and is now in 24-hour staffed accommodation wearing a GPS electronically monitored tag. Some of his victims said they were frightened by his release and felt unsafe. The Home Office said any breach of Ahmed's strict licence conditions resulted in him being immediately returned to prison. Earlier, ministers said the government was looking at ways to have the child rapist deported to Pakistan. In response to a question from Rochdale MP, the leader of the House, Alan Campbell, said officials were exploring every option in the case. So there may, as much as like, there's going to be some issues around trying to get him out. The problem is that he does have a British passport, is my understanding, which is why they can't. He has a British passport and Pakistani one. So, I don't know if people would. The thing is, there's a two-sided coin to this. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, we should revoke his British passport and deport him to Pakistan. But then there's the other side of me is that, well, if you revoke his British passport, who to say that we can't revoke British passports to other people? Like, where does it stop there? See, that's the only problem that I have with it, though. Now, they're saying every movement of he's being tracked, but obviously for the victims, it's not the same for them. Labour's mandate to government is very questionable, given that while it got 64% of the seat, it only got 34% of the popular vote. It's always worth reminding us back in 2020, the 2024 general election, it's always worth reminding ourselves that people did not vote Labour because they wanted Labour. People voted Labour because they wanted the Tories out. It's worth always reminding ourselves of that, for sure. A false adoption is a stain on our history, says Starmer, as he gives a formal apology. Yeah, Keir Starmer, I think it was yesterday, he gave a formal apology for the historical adoptions in England and Wales. An estimated 185,000 babies were taken from their mothers in the 1950s, 60s and 70s, with women pressured into giving up their children because they were unmarried. He calls it a stain on our history. Shame is not yours, shame was never yours, shame is ours, he said. The apology comes after years of campaigning for mothers, adoptees and their wider families, and parliamentary reports into the issue. No compensation scheme has been put in place, but a £4 million support package over 3 years has been announced for better access to adoption records and improvements of family reunion service. What has the group said? Support groups for mothers and adopters established by the campaigners met the Prime Minister. Keir Starmer ahead of the apology. One of those. Keane says she didn't have a say in our son's adoption. All we need is this apology because we've always been accused of giving up on our babies and we didn't give them up. The former health minister said mothers and adoptees have been waiting a long time for an apology, but the government had done its best they could because it's so complex. The formal apology recognises lifelong trauma endured by mothers who had their babies forcefully adopted. Yeah, for some, it's an apology was enough for them. And just seeing here. So it looks like this might be finally brought to a close. This chapter for them. I mean, some may continue to pursue compensation. But we'll have to wait and see. Oh, what in the hell is this story? Politicians call for training courses for rabbit owners labelled harebrained. What the hell? A Labour politician, this is in Wales, a Labour politician wants people to take short training courses before they can own a rabbit as part of animal welfare reforms in Wales. Mike Hedge told the Welsh Parliament, that people should be restricted from becoming owners until they can show they understand the needs of rabbits. A Conservative seed member questioned the practicality of acquiring the training, while Seesaws told BBC Wales that the idea was harebrained. The RSPCA said rabbits are among the most neglected pets in the UK and welcome an improvement to animal welfare, while a rabbit charity said bunnies can currently be bought too easily with too little understanding of their needs. Hop to Save the Rabbits, an animal welfare charity, said it was very encouraging to see this issue raised in the sea, and that it supported a short rabbit welfare course before acquisition. Many welfare problems begin before acquisition. Rabbits can be obtained too easily, with too little understanding of their needs, the spokesperson said. This frequently leads to poor welfare outcomes, including unsuitable housing, loneliness, mixed seeding, unwanted litters, abandonment, and pressure on rescues. If it is one of the most negative and neglected pets in the UK from the RSPCA's point of view, then I don't know if a course is going to solve this solution with regards to rabbits. Oh, look, I don't know enough about this, but let me just say this, right? If a course should be mandatory and it reduces the amount of negativity on rabbits in the UK as a whole, then I fully support this. I would say nobody should be taking on I'm not saying we should do this with every animal, okay? I want to make this very clear, okay? I think, yeah, we need to apply some common sense when it comes to people purchasing certain animals, right? And understanding that what you are getting is not a toy. It's a pet. It's a life. It's a pet. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be looked after. Its cage needs to be cleaned and looked after as well. You need to make sure it maintains all its needs. You need to make sure that every now and then you're taking it to the vets to get it checked. Like, you're taking all the necessary needs for it. But if word for mouth is not enough, if not enough conversations are being done to make sure that people are not giving the love and the care for any animals, never mind just rabbits or any animals, then maybe something like this should be considered. Maybe something like this should be considered for people who have never owned a pet. I think we need to have a serious conversation about this, because there are some people who I generally think there are some people who generally want pets, who generally care and love them, but maybe don't fully understand. Now, it's so easy for people to say, well, Regan, they all have internet, they all have Google and whatnot. I do think there needs to be a serious conversation about this. I don't think it's harebrained. I think there is something serious here, especially when the RSPCA are saying rabbits are the most neglected pets in the UK. That for me is a big problem. That's a big problem. I do think there needs to be serious conversations. Reganelite, what you also missed there's a lot of these mothers were put also into metal asylums. Look up the rules for owning a pet in German. ASP dogs, there's a QA library. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, QA. I appreciate that. If you adopt from a rescue, you are checked, says Witchygoff. The problem is not everyone gets them from rescue. There's still people find ways of getting them online, don't they? I mean, like, the Dolly that we've got here. Dolly was given to us from a couple that couldn't look after anymore. They were an old couple, and they were moving away, and they couldn't look after Dolly anymore, and they knew we had a cat already. So they gave the cat to us, but they knew the cat would be all right because we were already cat looking after cats. But every situation is different, obviously, with regards to animals. Is what I'll say. Let me take you. Let's go a bit abroad, guys. Have a look at some stories that are across the pond here. I'm just going to refresh this actually, just to see. So Iran prepares for a day-long funeral for its late supreme leader, who was killed in the war. So is it today they're doing their funeral, or is it tomorrow, the day funeral? I'm not sure there. Have Facebook stopped pet buying and selling it in their marketplace? Let's find out. That's just quick ask. Yeah. According to Google AI, it says yes. Facebook has banned the buying, selling, and trading of live animals across its platform. This means you cannot market or list pets on the sale of Facebook Marketplace in public or private groups or individual profits. However, pet marketing as a broad business category, i.e., selling pet foods, toys, or services like grooming, is completely allowed. Is what it states according to AI there. Yeah, so apparently, according to AI, it is. According to AI, it is. What else is going on here? There are millions of mourners going to attend the funeral. Yep. What is this story on the right-hand side? Australian officials ask fan to respect the privacy of Neil, a one-ton seal who respects nothing. What? What is this story? I'm generally curious now. Who respects nothing? I need to know more about this seal. This is this is very important information, chat. We need to find out more information about this seal. This is very, very important indeed.
Now the attention Neil gets helps with awareness of it. Neil's fame, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Right now the attention Neil gets helps with awareness of our threatened species, helps with his protection in some ways, but it also encourages perhaps risky human behaviour, people trying to get selfies with Neil, people trying to get that little bit closer for that good photo.
Jesus, he's big.
It risks behavioural changes and getting him more and more used to people and exacerbating the situation. There is a risk here of essentially loving Neil to death.
Yeah, I was just saw it and I thought, oh, okay, and that was a few days ago, and then decided to come down this morning and have a look. And then I've come back again because I find it quite fascinating. Yeah.
He's got no other seals to play with, to joust with, to test his strength with, like he would be doing normally. So he chooses things to interact with, and he's obviously decided this puddle surrounded by bollards, which are horizontal at the moment.
Okay. Interesting. Like plenty of local boys before him, Neil was come hold himself onto land this twice yearly tour, beachside towns, the South Tasmania state, after months of feeding at sea. Posing problems now weighs as much as a small car and has a social media following more than double the human population. His rampage through local infrastructure has claimed bent traffic bollards. A sign warning public about seals and fences did not survive Neil's attempts to vault it. The rest of the time he lies paddled in places he likes, which is sometimes the middle of the road, bringing towns he visits to a standstill. But officials say their biggest concern is that Neil's popularity could lead to ill-advised human seal encounters that are dangerous for both sides. Yeah. He's the only male elephant seal to visit Tasmania in years and has commanded an enthralled TikTok following of 1.4 million. Of course, because you got to put it on. You got to put it on social media. In part because he acts kind of a jerk. During his visit to a shore, he's 12. His crimes have included picking fights with parked cars, smashing through barriers, and erecting to keep him off the road. But those antics have prompted some online to hail Neil as some kind of anti-authorization hero. But experts say it's normal experimentation for a growing seal. Juvenile male elephant seals need to practice for dominance battles in which adults rear up and crash their chests together as they compete for breeding opportunities. With no other juveniles practices, Neil can only rehearse on Toyotas. Local officials fear that Neil is the latest wild animal whose social media stardom has outgrown what's good for him. Neil's fame is a bit double-edged sword. When asked to give the seal fans to give him privacy. Yeah, it's a bit hard to give him privacy when he's on the side of the road there, isn't it? It's kind of a bit hard, isn't it? And it's not exact, like, I mean, what could you possibly do in that situation? In all seriousness, though, what could you possibly do in that situation? Like, the only logical thing I can do is maybe sedate him and then put him back out at sea or something. Like, but he could just end up coming back again, can't he? So he is so cute. He is very cute. He is cute. I will agree with that. He has my seal of approval, says Sid. I knew that was coming somewhere. Steam Railway that travels through the Swiss Alps celebrates its 100th anniversary. Don't tell Greta, she's not a fan of steam railways, steam engines. They pollute the planet. Very, very cool. The train enthusiasts will celebrate the 100th anniversary of the historic Swiss Railway this weekend as the vintage steam locomotive ferry tours through the stunning Alps scenes as part of its celebration. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, I've got that on my bucket list now. I've got that on my bucket list when I go to if I ever go to Switzerland. Yep. As a train fanatic, yep, this I'm sold already, chat. Yep. I'm sold. Just need to cough up the money somewhere for it. Yeah, you can help me. You can help me with that with leaving a super chat before this live stream ends, guys. Worth a shot. Rescue mission launched to save NASA telescope that is falling back to Earth. What? This has just happened 22 minutes ago, apparently. If the story will open. A three-armed spacecraft rocketed into orbit on Friday to rescue a NASA telescope that's in danger of crashing back to Earth. Pegasus Watch Blast launched in 2004. It's sinking faster than ever because of recent solar storms. NASA is paying $30 million for Kazakh to capture the telescope and boost its orbit so it can continue tracking some of the biggest explorations in the universe, like gamma-ray bursts and exploding stars. If all goes well, Swift could be back scanning the cosmos by September. Observers are currently holding on to preserve the telescope's orbit as long as possible. Not being funny, but why not keep it near the space station so that and not leave it out on its own? I'm just as a recommendation. Why not keep it at a certain distance from the space station that can be monitored by those on there? I'm just suggesting. Rather than actually paying like $30 million to get a crew up there to get it back up to a safer orbit there. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope could be a candidate for a similar salvage operation in a few years. It's also slipping in altitude because of an increased atmospheric drug caused by the sun's outburst. Maybe we should look at maybe they should look at building a new one to replace it. I mean, obviously this all comes with money. I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk wouldn't have a problem with it, considering how much he loves space. I'm sure if he gave him the idea, I'm sure he'll approve of it. He just comes back. Yeah, that's the problem with the seal. He'll just keep coming back. Yeah, that's true. How Trump got the Senate candidates here? Has Trump got the Senate candidates and how much will help them? Democratic governors press the U.S. Postal Service to drop plans to tie Trump's election order. Trump's accounts launched July 4th, giving newborns $1,000. Robotic elephants are replacing live ones at Khaled temple festivals in photos. What? Yeah, that's a bit odd. UN Human Rights Chief red alert over violence around Sudan. Yep, that's still happening. I know, it's absolutely terrible. Whoa. Has that just literally happened? Moldova's Prime Minister steps down, triggering the government's resignation. Moldova's Prime Minister announced on Friday today he's stepping down in a surprise move that automatically triggers the government's resignation. He did not give clear reasons for his departure. It comes less than a year after he was sworn in to lead the European Union candidacy, his country's pro-Western government following a tense election widely viewed as a choice between East and West. Today I am my turn as Prime Minister. He wrote in a statement posted on social media. The moment I understand I can no longer exercise my mandate in accordance with my principles and beliefs, I choose to walk away. He said, I accept my proposal to be Prime Minister with a lot of responsibility, state conviction. A press statement following his resignation. The President thanked I was listening to the people. Next week we'll listen to parliamentary groups to appoint a new Prime Minister. We have a united strong team. Yeah, I know that it wasn't that long ago that the people voted to be pro-EU or join the European Union, didn't they? They voted, and there was a lot of pressure from Russia to try and stop it. I don't know if this is linked to it. Next week, listen to parliamentary groups to appoint a new Prime Minister. We must have a united, strong team in government and we will fulfil our country's obligations, she said. We are obliged to succeed in taking Moldova into the EU. Yep, that's it. And helping the country. From my experience, at least in recent years, it was never easy to identify candidates for the position of Prime Minister. I know I cannot take along the plan. Yeah, I kind of wish I kind of knew the reasons for it. I mean, that's quite a big deal for the country. Don't really have the exact reasons of why, though. Portugal knocked out Croatia of the World Cup. So Croatia have gone home. Sorry for them. And I think only got about a minute left. So actually, I think yeah, I'll play that video for people before we go, because I did say I'll play that video for. Did they replace the Hubble? They called it the James Webb Space Telescope. Honestly, don't know, QA, actually. If you've not already looked up Francis Bogatos and Chris Harris, We Saved the Train. Oh, I have to send me the link, because I won't. I'm probably going to forget there. Right, guys. I said I was going to play this yesterday, and I couldn't play it, unfortunately, because my computer couldn't handle it. So, for those who are not football fanatics, for those of you who are not supporters of England and want England to lose to Mexico on Monday night, don't worry, I've got the perfect video for you all. So, I can't remember the name of the film. Somebody might remind me, but there was a film where someone played the role of being an England manager. The manager's name was Mike Bassett, and he was an interesting England manager. It's a film basically from this, and this clip is from the part of the film. And in one of the games they played, so-called played, they played against Mexico, and it was not going well for them. So for every non-England fan out there who really wants Mexico to knock out England, you will definitely like this one indeed. So I hope you guys get a laugh out of this video here. England, it says halftime at the Bombaza Arica Stadium, and England trail Mexico by 2-0. How do you think the halftime team talk for England's going to go, guys? I'm just warning you now, it's going to be loud. There is going to be, you're not going to hear the swearing because it's going to get cut out with the beeping, but you will get a laugh out of it for sure.
In La Bombonera Stadium, and England trail Mexico by 2-0.
Have you heard what the crowd is shouting? Bastards and bastards and bastards and they shouldn't be shouting at me. They should be shouting at you. And do you know why? Because it's half time and we're 2-0 down to the Mexicans. Wrong with you? Get your fingers out. Where's your bottle gun? I can't pay attention when I'm talking to you. If you don't want to wear the shirt off, there's thousands of kids out there who die. Put that shirt on. Back on the field. Show what you can do, or off home on the plane. You got that?
England lose 4-0. In La
Oh, the timestamp fucking ruined it. Bloody hell. This was in the group stages, and they drew the first game, and they lose 4-0 to Mexico. And then the next game they had to face Argentina, and they had to win it. And they actually won the game. They won it through a handball. The player touched the ball with the hand to win that game. Oh, it's a great film. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. But I thought that clip just went viral as soon as it was confirmed that England would face Mexico in the next round. Well, there you go, guys. So hopefully your optimism of England not going any further will be much more secure. So, guys, I want to say massive thank you to everyone who came along this morning. Thank you, guys, for all your comments. Very much appreciated. I will be back live on Monday at 11 a.m. for another good morning show. I have recorded Speaking My Mind and Good News videos for the weekend that will drop at 8 o'clock, guys. So if you haven't, so when they drop, do check them out. If I get a chance, I'll make them available for members now. I do have some short videos to record for Sunday and Monday for you guys, but videos for Rumble, Patreon have been recorded for the next couple of days as well. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there'll be videos dropping there'll be a video dropping at 12 p.m. on those platforms for both Patreon and Rumble for free that you can check out on them. Link for both of them in the description. As well, just to remind you that Phil Morehouse will be going live right now. 1 o'clock is the agenda with Phil Morehouse and Graham Hughes. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Witchy Goth will be going live on her YouTube channel, so please do give her some love and support if you are available. 5 o'clock will be Friday Frolics with Daily Blase. I won't be around. I'm going to a wrestling show tonight, so I won't be able to join him for that. Max Robertsby will be live tonight at 8:30 as well. And A. Thompson, I think, will be around about 7 o'clock, 7:30 as well. And then finally on Sunday afternoon / evening, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. Graham Price will be going live on the Sunday afternoon as well. So if you guys are interested in checking out his content, you can do as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.